Okay, it's your boy Kamal Hart on the chart, and we're going bar by bar. Friday, last day of the trading week. I can't lie, this was kind of a stressful week for me. I uh, I lost money every single day. Very stressful, but you know the losses were pretty small when you really look at the analytics. I've lost much more net weekly than this week. So there's a silver lining. My trade management was pretty good in terms of just keeping my losses small. I just need to focus on my trade selection. I think I was taking some aggressive entries when I really didn't need to. But, you know, you live and you learn and you get better. So I got to the charts a little late today. Um, Off the bat, this is kind of what I see. I mean, knowing what we know, Um, we're expecting an uptrend slash range slash, it's like, you know, there's definitely an uptrend through here, through there or something. We can all see that. And then off the highs, we're somewhere like this off the highs. So there's a trend up, and then we just got that reversal pattern right there. So we're going to look for shorts. I like that bounce off of the trend line. Um, I'm gonna take higher lows or lower highs out of my trading plan for now. I'm not having a high win rate with them, and I'm gonna start focusing just on the second entries and failed second entries. Um, so when this breaks above, this is great. I want to see a nice reversal bar, which isn't that. And then here it breaks below and then turns back on its highs. This is a failed second entry um, setup. Um, you might go long there, but luckily it never breaks above, so you wouldn't have been entered yet. Then the problem there is that this big red bar is too big and too close to the lows, so I'm not going short there either. Um, so we wait. I can extend this just so we can get a better idea. So that's where we're at. I'm a little hard pressed to say this is a convincing break outside of the trend channel, so I'm gonna wait to see what else we get. And then here goes my first trade. Now, I will say that when you see this price action, this is not a trade by any means. But when I was trading it, it actually, there was one less bar and it broke above and then turned and closed on the very low. So to me, it kind of looked like a lower high, almost like a second entry short. It was a double top. But given this price action, there's definitely not a trade here. It's probably just like a refresh era where my data, I didn't get the full data, so it combined a few bars, and you know that led to a losing trade. And then I'm out right there on the highs. Just an entry thing, probably two ticks above there, one, two. Just keeping my losses a little smaller, saving myself that tick. So either one would have been hit regardless. So we're getting an uptrend. Um, at this point, I want to see one break below and then a move higher, and maybe we'll go long. Um, Although, like I said, this isn't really a convincing break, but it seems like the EMA is creating support. I don't have any other bounces off this area to say that we're in a range, but based off of this week, I mean, it's something like a range, but there's just not a clear low and there's not really a clear high. So Just got to try to use these shorter term channels for now. Um, if we break above here, that's the reversal, but it went lower than this low, so I'm just gonna wait. And that would have worked pretty well. It was a failed break lower. That is one key point that I didn't mention, is that when this broke below and then came back and closed above, that's a sign of like a false breakout. Um, it would have been aggressive. I like to call them before I see the price action, but I think if I would have seen that real time and seen how it broke below, then came back above, I would have been more, at least to come up to these highs. I'd have been into that trade. So I'm gonna draw a trend channel off that reversal and see how it fits off the highs. Probably somewhere off there for the highs. Now it did tick lower, so we can use this as our new count. So this is the higher low, but see all those doji stacked up. I'm not into that. We break just one tick higher, like a failed break higher reversal, but we're basically going sideways. All these bars are dojis. So I need to see, I need to see a breakout. Here's the breakout to the low side, and I actually went long right there on that breakout. Same sort of principle where it was a failed break lower, came back, closed on its highs, and I entered one tick above. Of course, my price action looked a little different than it does right now, but it's close to basically what this was. The main difference really is that on this entry, on my entry bar, it ticked up and then came all the way down to the lows of the signal bar. So I didn't even have that space right there to exit, to exit a little sooner than down here. Um, that's really the main difference. But, you know, it's hard to say why this trade failed other than I was buying into a tight range, because it did what it's supposed to do. It broke below, tested the high side of the range, and reversed or ranged more or continued. So it's not too surprising to see it do that. I was just assuming that if we are in a range of some sort, we're probably going to try to test the highs. That was just my assumption, and this was kind of the confirmation of that channel. Um, it's a trade I can live with. I probably should have skipped it just because the range was a little too tight, and it was just a first entry to the high. So for those reasons, I probably should have skipped it. But it is what it is. And so from here, then you can really look at a bigger channel going on, and that's going on right through there off those few lows. I don't have an area that I believe is solid off the highs. Yeah, I won't even really use that. I won't even use that. Um, I'll just stick to the shorter term because it's really hard to tell where this thing is going. So right there, that was probably the trade I should have been waiting on. That's the second entry long. First entry, second entry, and then it's the first break of this channel, so that's good. I don't like how it's kind of trending down. I don't love how it's going a little sideways, but when you see that, you might. Easier to take it now, but it's way too late. So I don't know. You might have taken this trade. We'll give it at least like an aggressive entry, but just a little hard to trust that, you know. And that thing kind of shoots off. And that's just like the most annoying thing is that's what leads to a lot of frustration, is when you when you try to take a good entry and it doesn't work, and then just moments later, you know, it goes right where you thought it would. It's like, oh God, whatever. So we're trending higher. Break, move to a new high. Let's see if we get like a second leg. But we're starting to go sideways already, so we need to kind of keep that in mind. And then here's the pullback. Then all we need now is maybe a swing low or something like that. So I wanna make sure I respect whatever is happening. The sellers are in control for now. Just keep myself on the right side of this. So as you can see, we're ranging. Like this is a range, but I mean, I could just put my lows down here. There's only one bounce, but a little bit of resistance over there. So I kind of like that. And then off the highs, I mean, there's maybe maybe there, not too clear, not too clear. So what helps though is like if I would have been using this range a little sooner, which I really should have been, then it's pretty obvious why this trade isn't the best trade. It's an okay setup, but it's probably not the trade you want to take. And that's just based off of our midline rule. Somewhere in there. We don't want to take trades we don't want to take long trades on the high side of the midline. And that's exactly what that was. Right? I want to be selling on this side, buying on this side. And look what I did here. I sold on this side and it fails. So, it's not a clear range. So I wasn't sure what to really use. And at that point, I was just using that trend channel, expecting a retest of the lows. And here I was getting some support. Really, if we would have just tested this high, that would have been enough. But we didn't quite get there. So anyway, we got this little micro trend going down, and see how we're already in this lower quadrant. So I don't want to go short anymore. I want to see if I can get long. And that one shoots off, but that's not a good signal bar, and it's in the middle of nowhere really. I can't really trade that. So let's see, we got that break. Let's see, we got a little break on this side as well. Maybe I just need to move my line. No, I'd say it's a break. So we got that a little bit of a break, so we might not retest, but let's see what we get. So here's the retest, cool. And then, okay, let's see. Really, there's a failed second entry right there. Once it broke below this bar, failed second entry long, right? Off this high, goes lower. First time it tries to go up, it fails, goes lower, comes back up again, and then it starts lower. So there's a trade right there for a short, technically, but it's like this whole week basically has just been like, should we take this? I think I have to break a rule to take that trade. I like how it sets up on the midline, so I might have actually taken that, but after these two, I was basically done. I was like, I'm not going to risk more money today. I'm going to wait for a better day. So when this breaks above and then closes below, we're too close to these lows, and we're selling on the low side of the channel of the range. So I'm not interested in this short, and it's unfortunate. It goes off. So really, if you were going to catch this move, it would have been up here. But I'm not going to sell. I'm not going to sell there. Here's a little second entry long off the lows, but we've learned enough this week that it's a little risky to buy that. So we're gonna wait, see if we get a higher low. See, that would have just would have ticked you out and then set up another entry long. So the reason why I'm not taking this though is because prices are definitely going sideways right now. So I want to wait, see if I can get another higher low. No pullback. So this one isn't a clean setup, but I like it because it's a double bottom. We're getting that support that we need at the bottom of a range. And I just don't like how this green bar broke above this red bar. So maybe you can enter on a limit, see if it fills you. But you know, not to say you should force any trades, because I don't think you should even really force anything. But this is an okay setup for the context that we've created so far. Um, and so that limit order doesn't even get filled. And even one tick back doesn't get filled. And even if you had it on this high, it might not have gotten filled. The only way to get filled, it seems, would have been on a stop. And I don't think I would have entered on a stop right there. Let's see, maybe the next bar will pull back. Nah, it shoots off. So, that's a setup that was there, but probably didn't get filled. So, it's just one of those days and one of those weeks where um, the strategy works, but market conditions aren't particularly favorable. So really, the game becomes less of trying to find and force trades and more of, hey, take the trades that you feel you should take, but really manage your risk. And once you win a couple or lose a couple, get out the market. Get out the market. You'll never know. Next week could be an amazing trend week, and you can catch big runners. It's not happening here. So just don't don't risk more capital than you need to making a bunch of decisions and getting chopped up. Just stick to the rules as close as you can. If the trades fit the rules, take the trades. If not, skip them. So here we're about to get the higher low set up, but so it would have triggered right there, but that's not really a great signal bar. Once again, I'm almost done with the higher lows. I'll take them eventually or sometimes, but in general, I don't even want to take higher lows. I want to take second entries. Or so I'll take higher lows at the bottom of ranges, but I'm not going to take them off the trend line break. No, I'm not. I don't really like that setup. And it pulls back. Um, and so here it's basically a failed second entry short from these lows. Tries to go lower once, breaks higher, goes lower again. So if it breaks higher right there, I would honestly say, other than this trade, this is probably the first good, legitimate trade that isn't super risky or aggressive or something. Um, we can even give that a blue check. That's probably the first trade that I actually genuinely trust. And that one gives you a little bit of what you needed. So essentially, there's a breakout side and then move to a new high. I'll measure leg one. Really, the target is just the other side of the range. But since this other side of the range isn't even really confirmed, I'm just going to use a measured leg and see where that gets us. It gets us right there. So see how that goes. We get that. Notice how we don't close above it. It's pretty interesting. It's really interesting. We get a little past it, but we don't close above that measured leg. Then we get this big red bear bar. So I thought that was interesting. So we're going sideways a little right there. Just got to wait it out. Really what we want to do is get short. I think at this point I would even consider maybe the trend is, or the high side is there. And midline, we could just move it to there. So it's kind of like a two-legged pullback to the midline. I don't want to go long though. Works, but definitely don't want to go long there. Then we get it's kind of a second entry short. This is just a weird looking setup, but it's like a second entry short once it breaks below there. And it's a lower high to there. So you might take that. I just don't like the way it looks. It's basically an inside bar. I think it's because it opened here, ticked above, and then came back all the way down. Just looks funny, but it's a second entry short right there. Gets a little bit of movement, so you probably would have scalped out. Then it's going sideways now on a kind of like a bigger scale. Just gotta be careful. And then when it does this little red bar, I like this for a short though. Um, just kind of like it's a failed second entry long off this high. Went higher once, fails, went higher again, doesn't even get above there. Once it breaks below here, I like that. And just try to get to this midline, and best case scenario, we're coming to the other side. So get the midline, this higher low we're skipping, we're not into that. And really, you know, I think that the larger range does all the justice we need, but something to just be mindful of is even though we're breaking out, so even though we're breaking out this way, we might need to see a breakout pullback for it to keep going. Because this could just snap back into the range. Like boom, like yeah, literally. I didn't even know it was going to do that, but you know, it's just a lot of range. A lot of range stuff going on. Only 5 minutes left in the day. I wouldn't even really risk anything at this point. None of these are good trades. Well, none of these are good setups. You can always make money, but I like to take the clear, easy, simple setups. Um, and that ends up being the day. I mean, 12:10 on a day like today. Not There's a decent amount of volume. I won't say it's like bad volume, but in here it really slowed down. Um, and there are a few trades, one, two, three, four, five, six. Not bad. I just took the bad ones. This is not a trade in my strategy. I just didn't have the range in play. This again is not a trade. If it would have looked like this, there's no way I would have taken it. But the way it looked when I was trading, it looked a little better for this retest. But it's all good. I followed my risk management and my money management, so it's really nothing that I can't recover from in one trade. So I'm not too pressed. It's a little annoying to lose money every day this week. It's kind of the first time I've ever done that, but it's part of the game. And really, my goal for this week is just to manage my risk, and I've done a great job of managing risk. So in these kind of difficult markets, the main thing you can do is just slow down the bleeding. So when you do get to a better market condition, you don't have this huge hole to climb out of. It's just a small, small ditch. So that's all I see for today. Do some studying this weekend, some meditating, and get prepared for next week. So until Monday, it's your boy Kamal Hart signing out. Peace.